Hey everyone, how you doing? I'm Lazlow, the MST guy, and welcome to the show. Today, we're going to be looking at Mystery Science Theater 3000, episode 106, The Crawling Hand.
How come you never introduce me anymore?
Sorry, Simon. Hey everyone, I'm Lazlow, and this is Simon. We're being held in space, on board this spaceship, and we're being forced to watch every episode of Mystery Science Theater ever made. And our captor is this guy.
Greetings, everyone. I am Wizardo. Are you ready to begin today's episode?
Sure, let's get going. The episode begins with Joel on the bridge as he explains the premise of the show when he gets a call from the Mads.
I'm the subject of a bizarre movie-watching experiment, and now I guess so are you. I'm expecting a call any second now from the two evil scientists who shot me into space for no good reason at all.
Sign in 5, 4, 3, 2.
This episode marks the true debut of the desk buttons. I know, we all saw them in episode 104, but as you may remember, episode 4 was actually filmed after this episode.
Let's not get into that continuity issue again.
Agreed. Joel's invention exchange this week is the safety saw. And the Mads invention is the limb lengthener.
Yes, just select the appropriate limb. In this case, Larry's volunteered his arm. Comfy? Yeah. Yes, all right. And just stretch away. Oh, it doesn't hurt that much, you whiny baby.
Joel gets movie sign and heads into the theater.
The Crawling Hand. Hey, Joel.
Hi.
The movie begins with an astronaut still in space, suffering from some bizarre space sickness.
My God! Kill!
What would be considered NASA today blows up the spaceship, presumably killing everyone on board.
Push that and he's an astronaut.
Next, we're introduced to the movie's love interest, Marta, played by Siri Steffen, and her boyfriend Paul, played by Rod Lauren. They're your typical 20-something teenagers who are on their way to the beach for a little swimming.
Come on.
But first, we get our first host segment.
Hey, baby splits. Wow, that's gonna be tough to beat.
Here we are in the fifth frame. Crow is staring at a nasty 6'10" split. He really needs this one.
Back to the movie, Paul and Marta are at the beach when, as you would expect, they come across some of the remnants of the downed
Hey, last one
spaceship.
in the fjord's a rotten egg.
And the remnants of the downed astronaut.
Hey, I found my watch.
Paul takes Marta home, but he can't get the image of that hand out of his mind, so he does what any sane person would do and heads back to the beach that night to take the arm. He takes the arm back to his room he's renting, and later that night it kills his
I
landlady.
think she's doing Mrs. Captain Kirk.
He calls the cops, and guess who answers the phone? That's right, Alan Hale Jr., who is probably most famous for playing the skipper on Gilligan's Island.
Paul Lawrence.
This might be his first appearance on MST, but it won't be his last.
Hey,
But, Dad, found her.
As the cops head over to Paul's house, we take a break for the next host segment.
Get back to Galileo 7.
In this host segment, well, just see for yourselves.
Vision fading. Must cut transponder from wrist. Fashion crude phaser device with bed slat and light bulb.
Back in the movie, the cops get to Paul's house and they question him about his landlady's murder. They don't suspect him, and so they leave.
I heard a shot. I ran down from my room. I found her like this.
Paul stays back at the house and gets attacked by the hand just as the paramedics show up. They find Paul's passed out body and take him with them.
It's a 2-for-1 special.
I don't know, but I'm getting out of here.
It's a body, dummy.
It might still be alive.
After waking up in the back of the ambulance, he runs off and eventually finds his way back
He
home.
really must have had his beer goggles on.
Later that evening, two guys from Space Operations stop by to see Paul, but Paul's now sick with the space madness and attacks the two and runs off.
Check out those classic Elvis karate moves there.
Like from Blue Hawaii.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, Elvis has left the kitchen.
just in time for the next host
What's the
segment.
worst thing he's gonna do to you anyway? Pinch you?
Yeah, and how does he know how to go after you? He's got no brain and no leverage.
Hey, what are you guys talking about?
Oh, we're just mocking this week's monster. I mean, what's a hand gonna do to you anyway?
Well, there's a lot of things a hand can do if you stop to think about it. Like if you're sleeping, comes up with these two fingers, shoves them up your nose, you suffocate. Stone dead.
He heads over to Marta's and attacks her, then runs off again.
Like the Chelsea Hotel.
Paul heads home and finds the crawling hand hiding in the laundry. He takes the hand and drives off.
His bag for the arm.
Hey, you're not gonna wash that with the whites, are you?
That's got
He takes the hand to a local dump where the two of them get into a fight.
Ouch.
Oh, gee, oh.
Hey, hand-to-hand combat.
Sheriff Skipper and the guys from Space Operations show up and take Paul into custody.
We better get him to a hospital right away.
They find the hand and take it into custody as well.
This was no boating accident.
And with that, we head out of the theater and into our final host segment.
The good thing was those cats showed us a new definition for finger food. Finger.
And the bad,
Get it?
yeah. And the bad thing.
Bad thing was, well, never trust a delivery man.
Right. Okay. Here's your RAM chip.
Welcome back to another edition of Learning with Lazlow. Rod Lauren, born Roger Lawrence Strunk, who played Paul in today's movie, was an up-and-coming teen singer when he turned to acting. In 1964, he found himself shooting Once Before I Die, where he met his future wife, Naida Blanca. In 1979, the two of them married. While living in the Philippines, her acting career took off, while his kind of fizzled out. In late 2001, she was brutally murdered, and Rod was one of the prime suspects. He was allowed to return to the United States to take care of his aging mother while the investigation against him continued. In July 2007, Rod took his life by jumping off the second-floor balcony of the hotel he was staying at. He was 67. Well, that's it for this edition of Learning with Lazlow. We'll see you next time.
Well, that was kind of depressing.
Yeah, that kind of was. Anyway, there you go. Mystery Science Theater 3000, episode 106, The Crawling Hand. I actually really like this episode. As you would expect, the guys worked in a lot of great Gilligan's Island jokes, but what really made this episode shine for me were the barrage of jokes around hands and arms. The host segments weren't bad, but nothing really to write home about. You can pick this episode up on the Rhino single. Now in my next episode, we'll be looking at Mystery Science Theater 3000, episode 107, Robot Monster, as well as episodes 4 and 5 of Commando Cody. Any final thoughts, Simon?
We haven't heard much from Lazardo today. I wonder what he's up to.
You know, that's a really good point.
Me? Oh, you just wait and see, you two. You will find out in due time.
All right, I can't wait to see what he has in store for us. We'll see you next time. He calls the cops, and guess who answers the phone? You okay?
Yeah.
How was that?
Greetings, everyone. I am Wizardo. Are you ready to begin today's... Fuck.